Alright, we have learned the syntax for creating stateless functional components, and we've discussed cases in which we would use them. We left off with rendering a component called color spectrum that outputted an H1 tag with the text red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, also known as Roy G. Biv. In this lesson, we're going to drill making stateless functional components into your mind through repetition. If you got this down, there's no need to follow along with me in this video, but we're going to create a component for each of these colors. So if this is still new to you, let's build all these out together. This will be incredibly inefficient, but it is a practice in building muscle memory. It may not be the best practice for creating an app in React, but it'll help building components really sink in. As our lessons move on, we'll see much better, quicker, and best practice React ways of using components rather than repeatedly writing large amounts of the same code over and over again with small variations. So go ahead and write out a component for each color that outputs an H1 tag with the text of the color. You'll want to remember the rules of React and pass all of your components as children to one parent element. You can go ahead and pause the video and create these 7 components. If you need a refresher, you can look at the example above, and if you get stuck, you can watch me code the first example and then copy that syntax for the following 6 components. Go ahead and pause the video and give it a shot. Alright, I hope that went well. Let's code these out. We'll start with our red component. We'll create a variable and give it the name red. Because it is a component, we will capitalize the first letter in our variable name. We'll then set it equal to the function keyword with our opening and closing parentheses. We'll open up a code block, and inside of that, we'll use our return keyword, and inside of the parentheses, we'll insert our JSX that we are going to want our component to render to the DOM. I'll go ahead and add a semicolon to be consistent with all my previous components. So, before we finish off our next 6 components, let's make sure that our first red component is working. We'll go to our React DOM render method, and we'll remove the color spectrum component. We'll then insert a div. This is what we'll put all of our components into. We'll type in our red component. Be sure to include a closing tag. Let's go ahead and open this up in the browser. There it is. We were able to make this component render to the DOM. You may have taken a different approach of stuffing all of your color components into the color spectrum component as the parent component, as there are a few different ways you could have approached this. If you struggled with that, go ahead and pause the video and give the others a shot again. I'll go ahead and code through one more component. Then, in the codebase, I'll have the rest of the completed components if you would like to copy and paste from there. However, again, if React is new to you, please create the following 6. By the end of this lesson, I would really encourage you that you should have building stateless functional components down by memory. So let's work on the orange component. We'll declare our variable orange. We'll assign it the function with a code block. We'll then use our return statement, and we'll provide the return statement with our JSX to render to the DOM an H1 tag with the text orange. Great. Now go ahead and finish those out, or grab the source code on the online repository for the course, and I'll see you in the next lesson.